Hello, 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 Christmas Flixers. Welcome back to season 3 of Chicks on Christmas Flicks, where we can never have too many Christmas movies. We can only have not enough Christmas movies. I'm Brady, and guess what, guys? Happy New Year! I know. I have been under the radar for a while now, but I have to tell you, the Christmas movie season ended with me taking a very nice break. It wasn't nearly long enough, okay? Not nearly long enough. I got like maybe just a few days, maybe a couple days before the Christmas holiday, and like a couple days after, before I had to go back to work. So I didn't get a lot of time. So obviously, because my work schedule has been so insane, I was not able to do the season ending shows that I normally would do. But do not despair, because I'm going to do today, which is kind of going to wrap up what I watched over the season, over this coming year. There's so much stuff coming, already, Hallmark's already kicking off, filming for some Christmas movies next year. So I'm excited about that, and I will be highlighting those as the as the year goes on. I will also be watching movies that I missed over the next few months until we get to next season. So I'm really excited about that. And there's so many movies that I didn't see that I need to see that I will have plenty of movies to talk about over the coming months. So I'm excited about that. And also, I am planning to reach out to Brittany from Hallmark Enthusiast 247 and ask her to do our wrap-up top 12 list. So I'm going to send that email out this afternoon, and hopefully we can record and post that sometime next weekend. I'm hoping. Cross my fingers. I don't know where her schedule is. So if not, it'll be coming soon. So anyway, if you haven't already, please check out season 3, episode 11, because it was packed. Just like today's show is going to be packed. I talked about Must Love Christmas, A Hollywood Christmas, Cloudy with a Chance of Christmas, and All I Didn't Want for Christmas, the recaps and reviews. Then I had a ton of Hot or Not chick picks, including A New Divas Christmas Carol, I Believe in Santa, The Holiday Sitter and Holiday Harmony, Christmas to Treasure, and a couple of upgrades of movies that I had watched previously, but I got a second watch, and I said, why did I rate that so low? So I had to upgrade a few. Okay, so this week I'll be talking about Christmas with the Campbells. I did guess that was on tops on my list of must-watch movies from before the season started, and I've got a lot to say about that one. Hotel for the Holidays, which was on FreeVee. Your Christmas or Mine, which was on Amazon Prime. Hanukkah on Rye, which was on Hallmark. I love that one. I'll just give you the preview on that one. I did love that movie. And then I got to watch a few that I hadn't gotten to see, including Single and Ready to Jingle, A Royal Corgi Christmas, and a few others. So I have a list of hot or not chick picks that are coming up that I think you will enjoy hearing about a little more in the second half of the show. And I have to tell you, while I was off, I just really my brain just wanted to shut off, and I just wanted to kind of go on autopilot. So I had a classic Christmas movie marathon. And I'm going to tell you about that because most of the movies are available free on the streaming services. And if you're like me and you really like those rom-coms, those Christmas rom-coms that really got you into Christmas, the reason why you love Countdown to Christmas right now is because these movies, those movies are the ones that I watched over the holiday, and I have to tell you, I just loved it. I was like, it's a shame they don't have a Hallmark, if you're listening, have a Christmas movie weekend, like one of the countdown of Christmas weekends, where you just play the old classics, right? Just a bunch of the old classics, like A Carol for Christmas. I mean, I watched that one. I watched several of them, so I'll have to update you guys on that. But anyway, so just, Window Wonderland. You remember that one? Window Wonderland with Paul Campbell. Like, I love that one. I think they showed it one time on like Hallmark Movies and Mysteries to tell you how much I watch it, but they don't really show it regularly. There's so many of those movies that got me, kind of stuck on Countdown to Christmas, and they don't play them anymore. So I had my own little marathon, which means I missed what was on regular TV, but that's okay because I was really loving the Christmas marathon. Okay. So anyway, tons of movies I didn't get to see over the holiday, and I will get to watch them during the off season, quote unquote off season, because to me, Christmas is 365. There is no day off from Christmas. There's always Christmas. There's always Christmas movies. I have a DVR full of Christmas movies, and I watch them all the time, all through the year. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care. I don't care what it looks like. It could be like 1,000 degrees outside, and I'll be sitting in the house watching a Christmas movie and maybe drinking hot chocolate. That's how I roll. I'm just saying. Anyway, so I'm very, very excited to talk about this, the movies and stuff in a few minutes. But first things first. First, let me just say, this is going to be a blooper episode, right? Because I do not have time to do a full show edit. So anything I mess up on, and I don't know what I'm going to mess up on, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot. You're going to hear it in this show because I am doing a blooper episode. Okay. Anyway. First things first, St. Nick shout outs. As always, at the beginning of the show, I love to do my shout outs to listeners. That is my tradition. I'm truly, truly thankful for everyone who tunes in and listens to the shows. I mean, you have made this season one of the most successful for this podcast. So, and it's just me. It's just me shooting the stuff about, Christmas movies. So, and you love listening. And I love that you guys love to listen. Because I'm honestly, if somebody else did this, the way that I do this, I would be listening to them because I want to hear about Christmas movies. And I want to hear a different perspective, I don't know. It's just me. So anyway, thank you for all of you who take time out of your busy schedules to listen, or you squeeze the show into your busy schedule. Today, I'm not going to do the full length St. Nick shout outs. Sorry, I got to kind of do it fast today, but during the off season, you guys know I'll be coming back with St. Nick shout outs, the full thing all year round. It's not going to just be for the season this time because I missed so many because of my crazy work schedule. I should also say that my work schedule is actually getting back to normal. Like, I'm actually getting back to working like regular hours on regular days and getting off. So once I kind of get my bearings back, because, we were in a whirlwind for a while. Once I kind of get my bearings back and I kind of get back into the swing of things, then I'm definitely going to be able to record more frequently. And I'm planning to stay in this mode all year round. I am not taking on a whole lot of ridiculous assignments. I'm just not going to do it. I'm a proven... I'm a proven asset to the company at this point. If they don't get it, well, they don't get it. All right. So anyway, gonna take it easy. Gonna be able to do more podcasts. I'm excited. Anyway, I picked 5 listener locations. With that said, let's get started. Remember, I don't know who you are, but I know where you live. Number 1 on the St. Nick shout out list is Bolton, Maryland. Hello, Bolton, Maryland. I'm excited. That's my state. I was born in DC, but I spent a lot of my life in Maryland. And so that's like one of my home states. So I'm excited. Thank you for joining Bolton, Maryland. It's not even that far from the DC area, actually, but I never heard of it. So I'm excited that you guys have joined the show because I never heard of Bolton, Maryland. I didn't know it existed before. So thank you for joining Bolton, Maryland. Number 2 on the list, I know this place big time because I kind of grew up not far from there. Number 2 on my list is Bridgeport, Ohio. Yay, Bridgeport! I'm so excited. I don't know who from Bridgeport is listening, but whoever you are, big shout out. I went to high school at Bel Air, Ohio. So if you're from Bridgeport, you will know where Bel Air, Ohio is, because they're like a hop, skip, and a jump away from each other, right down the Ohio River. And so they're kind of like my home people. As a matter of fact, I have family there, so that's exciting. Maybe it's my family listening. If it's you listening, hi, I miss you guys. Okay, so number 3 on my list is, now I'm gonna struggle with this one. I am sorry, and I'm stone cold. I'm stone cold sober, and I'm gonna struggle with this one. It's Paisley, Renfrewshire. I'm thinking it's sure because everybody says sure in England, in the UK. Paisley, Renfrewshire is what I picked up from there. So I hope I did not butcher that too badly. But everybody from Paisley, thank you for joining the show. Number 4 on the list is Sydney, New South Wales. That's Australia. Thank you, Sydney, New South Wales, for joining the show. I don't know if you guys knew when I got my ancestry results back. Well, those of you who are new to the show, I got ancestry results back, right? So I'm outside of African, my African roots. I have Irish, English, and then I have like cousins in Australia, which is insane to me. Like all the places around the world where I have cousins is just insane. Now, mind you, they are like 4th and 5th, 6th cousins, but cousins are cousins to me. You know that's how Black people roll. Even if you're not cousins, like by blood, you can call somebody cousin and they'll be cousin. They'll be your aunt, they'll be your uncle, they'll be whatever. You can make anybody related to you. But these are actually people by DNA that are related to me. So I'm really excited. So I have family in Australia. All right. So I'm very excited. Thank you for joining Sydney, New South Wales. And then the last but not least for this week is Mouston, Wisconsin. Number 5 is Mouston, Wisconsin. Thank you for joining the show, Mouston, Wisconsin. Okay. Now it is time for the Ho 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 holiday headlines. Now, I have lots of little bits of news today. Little bits of news, but lots of little bits of news. So the first thing I want to talk about, because I know that and Brittany even brought it up when we talked about it in our first show of the season, which in our first top 12, and really what ended up being our only top 12 because of my crazy, insane schedule. But anyway, Brittany and I both kind of thought about the fact that Bethany Joy Lenz hadn't been in any Christmas movie over the Christmas season. I was like, what is going on? Why isn't Bethany doing a movie this year? She always does movies. And so, guess what? Surprise of all surprises, Bethany is in a upcoming film for the 2023 season. A historical movie. I consider it in the vein of kind of a holiday spectacular kind of thing, but it's going to be called A Biltmore Christmas, and it is going to be Bethany Joy Lenz, who I love her stuff on both Hallmark and Lifetime. One of my favorites of hers is Snowed In Christmas from Lifetime. But An Unexpected Christmas, I love that movie. The Christmas Secret. I mean, going back to like what I think must be around one of her first movies on the Hallmark Channel, which they now show on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries all the time. So I love Bethany Joy Lenz. That is my best Christmas friend in my head. I didn't get to say that this year because she wasn't in the movie, but now I get to say it because she's going to be in something for 2023. She is going to be co-starring with Christopher Palaha. Do you hear what I'm saying? Now you know how I feel about Christopher Palaha. Love Christopher in everything. The last thing I really loved him in was A Dickens of a Christmas. I think that's what it was called. The Dickens movie. You know what I'm talking about, where he actually played Scrooge. So he was so incredible in that movie. Like, to me, he just knocked that out of the park. So and then, of course, this past season, he was in We Wish You a Merried Christmas, which I did enjoy that as well, just not as much as I loved A Dickens of a Christmas. So anyway, they are doing a Biltmore Christmas for 2023 season. And get this, it's kind of a time travel movie. I have to say, the premise sounds really amazing. I will talk more about the premise in the next episode. But I just kind of wanted to hit the news out there that Bethany is coming back in 2023, and I'm so excited about it. Okay, so the next little piece of news that I have is Christmas Con is heading to Kansas City in June. Christmas Con. Now, I have yet to go to a Christmas Con. I don't know that I'm going this year. You know, they talk about the new variant out there. It's like this potent new variant out there. So I'm just not sure about how much traveling I'm going to do. And I already have one trip on the books with the girls, so I don't know that I'm going to be. But I'd really love to go to a Christmas Con. But anyway, this one is going to be so good because it's going to Kansas City. It will be held in June, and headlining in June from June 9th to 11th at the Overland Park Convention Center, and headlining Andrew Walker, like the king of Christmas movies. I think across networks, I think we can safely say that now. Melissa Joan Hart, who, I mean, come on, I go way back. You know, I'm Teen Witch with Melissa Joan Hart, okay? And then Jonathan Bennett, who JB has turned. I just watched a movie, but I actually forgot he was actually in the movie. I watched it today, called Authors Anonymous. If you are an author of any kind and you have not seen Authors Anonymous, you are truly missing out. It's kind of a mockumentary about the author life, but it is one of the most hysterical. Like, it's a first time, second time, third time, fourth, fifth, I don't know. I'm probably on my 100th time seeing it. So I don't laugh at the jokes as heartily as I did when I saw it, like the first, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 10th time, right? But the first few times you watch that, you're gonna like bust a gut laughing at some of the stuff that's in there. I mean, it was only funny because it was true. It was that kind of funny. So I'm really excited about it. I am really, really excited about it. Oh my goodness. It says that, guess who else is supposed to go? Paul Campbell. Paul Campbell? Hello, Andrew Walker, Paul Campbell. You know, there's only one person missing. I don't see Tyler Hines' name on here, but if all three of them showed up at Christmas Con, okay. Like, if I see that, I might have to go, because 3 wise men and a baby, if that whole cast like showed up, I might have to go. I just might have to go. All right. So that's it. But I wanted to talk about the Christmas Con because, like, I think that's pretty major. The next thing I thought was really funny, this is an article that just hit my Google alerts, is the top 10 most overdone tropes in Hallmark Channel movies. The 10 most overdone tropes. So the first question that comes to my mind is, there's 10? Like, there's only 10? And then the next thing that comes to my mind after that is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. As a romance writer, we know there's a set of tropes that people pull from, but it's not the trope, it's how you tell the story, who the characters are, their experience in that. That is why you kind of see the same trope, but you'll never, I think you rarely see the same trope the exact same way. It is exactly why I predict that I think I know what a movie is going to be like, and then there's some twist in it that makes it completely not like the movie that I thought it was going to be like. This happens. But anyway, so I thought the article was interesting anyway, and it's not just Hallmark movies. Hello, it's TV movie rom-com. Okay, it's just rom-com period, and it is Hallmark Channel, and it is feature movies, and it is Lifetime, and it is Ion, and it's all of them. It's Netflix, it's all of them. So they put Hallmark on here, it's easy to make Hallmark the target, but let's just be real. And it's romance books, it's romance novels, right? It's like everything rom-com is probably guilty of these 10, but I thought it was worth talking about. So the first one is the first awkward encounter, right? When you have that first encounter and it's like really awkward, and then you kind of like the leading lady, like, or the heroine falls into the hero's arms, or trips off, or spills coffee. Come on, we've seen that so many times, but guess what? I love it every time I see it. So there, whoever made this list. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. 2, the second trope is the second awkward encounter. So there you have a first encounter, but it's not the first one that's awkward, it's the second one that's awkward, right? Finding out that you met somebody, you got up on the wrong foot, and then you find out you're going to be stuck in the house with them, right? On the second one, that's awkward. Things like that. So, yes, that's true. I think we've seen it. Number 3, a dead parent. Come on, man. And this is really like one that hits home on holiday movies. Like, it makes it, I don't know. To me, it's not a trope. I don't know. I mean, I guess it is a trope, but I don't know. To me, it's kind of not a trope. I don't know. I don't play with that dead parent thing because I have a dead parent. And so, to me, that's just part of the story. I'm not sure I would consider it a trope. Anybody who writes about that's kind of heavy. And you kind of run the risk of, losing your audience just by talking about the death, because some people get triggered by that. So I don't know if it's a trope, but we know, we've seen it. Almost every holiday movie where there's a parent issue, there's a loss of a parent, and for one reason or another. So we know that's facts. Enemies to lovers. Guilty of it myself. I have written enemies to lover stories, novels, and we see it in the books all the time. You know how it is. They start the movie and they're taking jabs at each other, or somebody's kind of rejoicing in somebody else's failure, and then you figure out that that's going to be somebody I'm going to have some kind of relationship with. And it gets awkward until they kind of secretly start falling for each other. The more and more time they get to spend with each other, the more they get to know each other, and then the more they start falling in love with each other, and figure out that the differences they thought they had kind of, melt away, and then what's left standing is the attraction, right? And the reasons why they should be together. So yeah, we know about that. The next one is a local business at risk. This is one of those tropes that was actually kind of getting on my nerves last year. I feel like overall, like all of the movies kind of pulled back on this theme this year, but that was the big thing. The end is in trouble. The family business is in trouble if we don't, if Super Person doesn't come in and save us, then we're going to lose the family business. We're going to lose the end. We're going to lose the hotel. We're going to lose the this, the that. Yeah. I mean, there was some of it, but to me, and the season overall, like they kind of backed off. The industry as a whole kind of backed up off of the local business at risk trope this year, which was fine for me because it kind of wore me out last year. The next one is former teenage besties. I actually kind of like this. Maybe they think it's overused. I don't know. To me, it's not. But to me, it's just kind of life that you kind of run into people that you know in your childhood, and you think of people in different ways because you're in different phases of your life. You know what I mean? I don't know. To me, that wasn't a bad one. That's not like overused. A seasonal baking contest. Come on, man. Like, how many times? One of my favorites, Pumpkin Pie Wars, is completely based on this one. Absolutely my favorite. Every time it comes on TV, I will not miss it. I will not. The only way I'll miss it is if I have a work meeting or whatever. I never miss that movie, but it is exactly this trope, the seasonal baking contest. So, yeah. I know those movies are out there, and I know they may be tropish, but that's one of those tropes that I actually like. Maybe because it's baked goods and it's carbs. And I love carbs and baked goods. The next one is moving in with the love interest. Moving in with the love interest. So I don't know that this one's kind of different. Moving in. So I guess you could, I could see Falling for Vermont being one of those. And I love Julie Gonzalo anyway, no matter what she does. But yes, this would be a case. It's not so much they are moving in the house, they're moving in the guest house, right? I could see that. Yes, there's been plenty of movies where we've seen the guy moving in the guest house for whatever reason. There's been Christmas movies to that effect. There's Falling for Vermont. There's several ones that we could talk about. I don't know that is overdone, personally. I wouldn't call that one of the overdone ones. But it's done. The next one is a cozy inn. How many times have we seen the cozy inn? Oh, they literally had a movie this year called A Cozy Christmas Inn. So I think, yeah, we've seen the cozy inn. Oh my goodness, we've seen that like a million times. Yeah, lots of inns. So that's it. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but it doesn't feel like a lot when you're actually talking about it. So those are the 10 most overdone tropes in Hallmark Channel movies. But they pointed out Hallmark, really, it could be any rom-com movie from any channel. Okay. Now, the next piece of news, like I said, it just happened to come in my box, and I'm just going to happen to talk about it a little bit, and I'm not even going to harp on it that much. But I kind of found it amusing. I found it amusing because, these posts kind of came back to back. So what I saw at first, right, was, if you guys follow Sleepy Kitty Paw on Twitter, everybody was kind of talking about the end of movie Christmas movie ratings, and basically the verdict is Hallmark and Hallmark Movies and Mysteries killed it. Number one for Christmas movies. Lifetime movies kind of taken a dive according to the ratings. But again, I tell you, for me, I don't feel it because like I'm a Lifetime fan. Way back when Lifetime was more popular than and did more movies, quite frankly, than Hallmark. And maybe Hallmark wasn't even in existence when when Lifetime did some of the movies. So yeah, so I'm a longtime Lifetime fan, and yeah, this season I had a tough time. I'll be honest. I think honestly for me it feels like the Lifetime original movies are the ones that I love the best. When they acquire movies, they those acquired movies do not resonate with me as well as the Lifetime originals, right? If Hallmark is acquiring movies, I don't notice it so much. So maybe it's because they're really acquiring movies that are on brand, right? But I feel like they just make a lot more movies, and so they make movies that are on brand because they are the brand, right? Whereas Lifetime, I can kind of feel when it's not on brand. And so I kind of feel that difference. So anyway, the rating said Lifetime's taken a little bit of a dive from where it has been in previous seasons. But BET is faring fairly well with diversity. BET Plus, and TV One. So, and I think I kind of understand that, because here's what I'm noticing, guys. It's just something I notice. It's not like a poke in anybody's eye. But what I do notice is that in terms of black movies, like, and I'm a black person, so it's just something I happen to notice, but it didn't deter me from watching any movie or any station. But the more diversity that we see across, which is great, we need it, but the fewer black people that are featured, like it's usually like a mixed couple or something like that. So you don't have like two African Americans serving as the lead characters. You might have an American and an African American and an Asian or whatever. And so then you just have fewer black people in the movies. And so what I think is happening is that BET is picking up those movies, right? And so, or picking up those stars for their movies. And so that you're seeing a lot more of them on the pluses, BET and BET Plus. And it just so happens that, maybe a black watchers are gravitating to those stations a little bit more because they want to see more black characters. So I mean, just the way it happens. But I love the diversity. Please do not take that as a hit on diversity, because you know how I feel about it, and how I feel about everybody being represented, and everybody should be able to see more of themselves in Christmas movies. But it's just an observation. So there you go. That's my observation. It's that the more diversity you have, the more diversity you have. And so then the fewer all black or all white movies that you're going to see. You're going to see a mix. And some of those people that don't act in those movies are going to appear in other places. And that is why you see more movies on AMC Plus and Paramount Plus and the Food Network and QVC Plus. You're going to see more movies outside there, because the more diversity, the more more people go to work, but some people are put out of work, and so they have to go find work elsewhere. So that's just how it happens. So I think you're going to start seeing more people, especially as the more diversity there is. I think you're just going to see more streamers picking up those actors and actually making successful movies, which I will have to say Discovery Plus kind of knocked it out of the park for me this year. Really did. They were pretty much, I'm going to say 4 for 4, but I would say 3 out of 4. One of them I was, but the other ones I was like strongly loving. So anyway, just something to think about there. So anyway, as we're talking about the Christmas movies, let me get back to my point. I know I strayed, but so getting back to my point is we're talking about Christmas movie rating, Hallmark and Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, Lifetime kind of taking a dive, BET is faring well, and then I get this thing in my box. uh, this Google alert that basically said Great American Family cable channel now the fastest growing network after Christmas movie season. This is after, if you listen to, I think the last episode, I talked about how their ratings, again, I didn't do it. It was just an article that came, into my Google alerts, but how starkly separated the ratings were between Hallmark and Great American Family. So then you see this in the heels of that, literally, in the heels of those articles, and you're like, fastest growing, what does that really mean? And I would say this, it wasn't Hallmark that compared them to Hallmark. It was Great American Family that compared themselves to Hallmark, right? They've been competing with Hallmark. It's certainly in me. It's certainly in Hallmark. Hallmark's just doing Hallmark. But they're trying to compete with them. And what I will say is, if they're the fastest growing network, fastest growing, whatever you want to call it, still not Hallmark. Still not up in that. You're still not up in that. Still some work to go. Still got a lot of work and a lot of audience to capture before you're up there. But they're the fastest growing channel. Okay, get it. But let's put that in perspective, right? There is some perspective to put that in. It's even fastest growing. It's not Hallmark. It's not Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. It's not. Okay. So anyway, I just thought I found that amusing in light of all of the. And I usually don't even look at the rating stuff. And like, if you look at, the past few seasons, I haven't looked at the rating stuff. It's just stuff that's coming into my Google alerts because it's an issue now. I guess it's a thing and people are writing about it. So it's coming into my Google alerts. So anyway, just thought that was interesting. So that is going to do it for the Ho 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 holiday headlines. Now it's time for my week recap and review of the week 9 movies. And is it week 9 or week 10? I don't know. I can't remember. I'm going to do a quick recap and then give you my Christmas tree review of each movie. For those of you who are new to the podcast, my ratings generally run from 3 to 5 Christmas trees. 3 meaning good, and I at least will watch it once. 5s, I love it. It's on my DVR, and I'm going to watch it a million gazillion times, and I don't care. It's always going to feel like the first time to me because it's that good. Okay? So, let's get started. Number 1, Christmas with the Campbells. Okay, so this was one of my most anticipated, and for good reason. It was Vince Vaughn, who is executive producing. Brittany Snow, we know her from the acapella group movie. You know what I'm talking about. It'll come to me in a second. Perfect Pitch. I think that's Pitch Perfect. Something like that. And then Justin Long, who we know from his association with, first of all, he does a lot of romantic comedy, but also because he used to be Drew Barrymore's boyfriend, right? And then a Christmas movie veteran directed it, Claire Niederprum, right? So yeah. So I wish I could say I loved it. But let me tell you a little bit about it, and I'll get to my Christmas tree rating. So Brittany, she plays this fresh ex-girlfriend, right? Literally, as the movie starts, she's involved in a breakup, right? She's dating a complete and total turd. He is like turd to the 5th power, okay? So she's kind of destroyed. Now you're breaking up with somebody just before the holidays, and then you're making everything awkward, and then especially if somebody doesn't have like their own family and stuff, and they're used to going to your family, like you've just ruined Christmas, basically. But what happens is her ex-boyfriend's parents, one of whom is Julia Duffy. So Julia Duffy is, I don't know, she's probably, to me, she's seems so underrated. Like, comedically, one of the funniest people on the planet. Very, very funny. And so Julia is the parent and calls the ex-girlfriend, who is Brittany, and still wants her to celebrate with them. They love her. And she's like, no, I think it's kind of going to be awkward. I'm not going. And then she agrees to go, after a little, kind of pressing, right? And so she agrees to go, and she goes and she spends this holiday period with her ex's parents. Now, the ex is not there. He has other plans. She thinks he's not going to show up. And so, it's all going to be gravy. But what happens when she gets there is, one, the ex didn't show up at first, but the cousin shows up. The cousin is Justin Long. And of course, he's kind of the hot cousin, right? But why they have Justin Long with this weird accent? I do not even know. Like, who wrote his dialogue and who said, this accent's a good idea, let's stick with it? No. Anybody who watches Justin Long in anything, like, if you watch it, just listen for the accent. You're gonna be like, what in the world? Why did they do this? So that was my first issue. Like, the whole movie, he's got this accent. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's supposed to be country, southern, and he talks in quips. So it's weird, is all I can say. It's just kind of unnecessarily weird. You could have just had Justin go in and play the straight guy. Play this, what he normally plays, and it would have been off the chain wonderful. But they have him going in and playing this, I don't know. So, it's supposed to be kind of this ranch handy guy who has this like southerny but not quite southern accent. I don't know. It's just weird. So you have him, and of course he and Brittany are kind of finding attraction for one another. The ex-boyfriend then finds his way to his parents' place. I can't remember if it was because I was so distracted by the accent. Like, there's not a whole lot I remember other than that accent. I just like, why was this a choice? Then Joanna Garcia, who we know from Reba, I love Reba. But Joanna Garcia from Reba was in this, and basically she's kind of the town slut. I don't know. It's just kind of the weird way they had all these guys playing together. Like, and then Julia Duffy, even that, she was like this highly sexual, like, older person. She just did all these weird things. It just didn't have to be that way. I know what they were trying to do, right? They were going for like this edgy kind of Christmas movie that was supposed to be fun. No, this was not the way to do it. I get where you were trying to go, and I know exactly why you didn't get there. Because you didn't have to go there. Keep in mind, Christmas movies are pretty straight-laced. To get to edge, you don't have to go this far. You only gotta go just a little bit off, and you're in the edge territory with it. So you didn't have to be as edgy as you thought you needed to be. And what happened, they ended up being edgy weird. And then it lost the edge. So I tried really, really hard. I wanted to love this. Like I said, it was on my top most anticipated list. It did not. It did not live up to what I thought it was going to be. So I will say 3 Christmas trees, but like 3.0, meaning you might want to watch it once just to see kind of how weird it was. It is if you're anything like me, it's probably not something you're going to watch over and over and over again. But honestly, I think it is worth watching one time because you're going to be like, oh, I see exactly what Carla's talking about, and I see why there's issues. And maybe even for Justin's long accent, like maybe you just want to watch for that alone. I don't know. It was just kind of off for me all the way through. And I was open, and language doesn't bother me. Netflix has done like plenty of edgy stuff, right? They've done edgy Christmas movies that I have loved. Ames, no. Vince, no. You guys got to study. Claire should have steered you guys in a different direction. I don't know. She knows better. She did not do right by you guys. She knew better. She should have spoken up. So anyway, all I can say is, 3 Christmas trees, and you could be prepared for the language, because there is language, because they were going for edgy. But is it like something you're gonna fall in love with? I don't know. I didn't. You might fall in love with it. I did not at all. And I wanted to fall in love with it. That was the thing. I so wanted to fall in love with it. All right, so number 2 on my list was the Holiday Dating Guide. Maria Menounos, who I absolutely love. If you guys don't know her parents' COVID story, God, you gotta go on YouTube and watch. God, just gut-wrenching. For her to be able to do this movie and seemingly have so much joy in her life after the tragedy that she has gone through, I just don't know. She's a miracle walking to me. So anything she does, I want to support. Now, I got to tell you, I went to the Holiday Dating Guide thinking, here we go again. Talk about tropes. Like rom-com tropes, like a dating guide. I'm going to follow the rules, and then I'm going to prove that my theory works. You've seen that before. I've seen it before. It's been on Hallmark before. It's been everywhere before. We've seen that before. So I was not holding out a lot of hope. The only thing is I love Maria, and so I was like, let me give it a shot. But I can tell you, like, it wasn't until 2 weeks after watching them, after the movie came out, that I actually watched it. And of course, Maria was in a holiday fix-up before that. And then she starred with Brent Bailey, who was in A Cape Cod Christmas with Katie Leclerc. Now, as much as I love Katie Leclerc in just about everything, I was actually not a big fan of A Cape Cod Christmas, but I was willing to give Brent another try, and I'm so glad I did. So anyway, the movie's about a writer, Maria. She's written this book, a dating guide, and her publisher likes her writing, but he's kind of old school. And he believes that, dating happens the old way. That you kind of meet somebody, it takes a little time, you get to know them. Like, he doesn't believe that, you can have rules that, lead you to a true everlasting relationship. So he gives her basically 12 days up until a Christmas party to prove that her advice is sound and that she can at least make someone fall in love with her in 12 days. And then he wants her to bring the guy, whoever falls in love with her, to the party to introduce. So, opening scene, right? I'm thinking Hitch. Remember how Hitch, he kind of manipulated situations so that the people would meet and they would kind of fall in love with. So in that first scene, I was like, this is Hitch, right? But quickly left Hitchland. It's not Hitch, right? Hitch, Will Smith, and I can't remember the other one. I think she's married to Ryan Gosling right now. I can't remember her name. But anyway, so that was Hitch, but it's not Hitch. So anyway, but she is this dating coach. Like, in addition to an office, she's kind of this dating coach. So it's kind of Hitchy, but it's not Hitch. The similarities end right there, end in the first scene. So if you watch it and you think that first scene is Hitch, it's going to be Hitch. I don't need to watch this. It's not. That's it. That's the end of Hitch after that first scene. So then, anyway, she finds a mark, right? And she goes to a bar, she finds a mark, and, they kind of go through the steps. And I will tell you, there's a lot of warnings. There's awkward dancing. There's like contagious yawning scenes. Like when you've been on the phone. Gosh, how many times have you done when you're, when it's first new and everything, you guys are on the phone late at night, and then all of a sudden you're tired and you're yawning and he's yawning, and it's back and forth yawning, and you're yawning because he's yawning and he's yawning because you're yawning. Like, they have that whole scene in there, which I thought was really cute because that actually happens in relationships, at least in mine, because I'm a late night talker. Anyway, so I totally got it. So you get to see them kind of go through the process of this falling in love thing, and then I will leave it there, because I don't want to give away anything. But what I have to say about this movie is I actually enjoyed the romance of this one. I mean, really enjoyed the romance of it. It was supposed to be this manufactured connection, by the books, following the rules, and all of this, but it turned out to be more authentic than I think Maria's character really planned for. And it surprised her. It surprised me how authentic it felt. So it felt like it was a surprise to me and the main character, and she's actually in the movie. And I think the big surprise was that, he's like breaking all the rules. Like, every rule she has, like, his rule is to break that rule, right? He's coloring all outside the lines, and kind of watching her kind of give into this, right? To give in to the rule breaking is actually what I think I actually loved about the movie. So this one I ended up liking a lot better than I thought it was. I thought it was going to be one thing, and it really was not not what I thought it was going to be. So I will give this one a solid 4 Christmas trees. Definitely recommend it. And you can catch it on demand or on the Lifetime streaming service. I think it's still on demand. And if it's not on demand, you could probably catch it on a streaming service. And most movies are picked up by Amazon Prime at some point or another. Some of them you can watch for free if you have Prime, and then some of them you have to pay for a small price. I've paid for some Lifetime movies, and they're usually like $3.99, $4.99, $5.99. Like, they're really not very expensive at all. So I would say that is one to watch, and it's not going to be exactly what you think it's going to be. It's actually really good, and I went into it not thinking I was going to like it, and I ended up really liking it a lot. So 4 Christmas trees for me, that's not a small thing. All right. The next movie up is Your Christmas or Mine, which was on Amazon Prime. Now, I'm not going to go through the actors, because if you're American and you watch American Christmas movies, you probably won't know the actors anyway. But it was a UK Christmas movie. And I have to say, I really liked this one. It was kind of over the top in some realm, but it was good. So what happens? Okay, so you're at university, right? This newly connected couple, like this new couple, I guess they've been together a few months. It's Christmas time, and now each has to go. They have to part ways, and each has to go home for Christmas, right? And so they go to the train station, and they pretty much are ready to, kiss and say goodbye, and I'll see you after the holidays, and we'll see you after the holidays. Well, they kind of get on their seats, both of them get on their seats, and they realize, I want to go spend the holiday with my boo. So I'm going to go get off this and go jump on and try to catch their train. But both of them do it. So they actually switch trains. And he actually ends up going to her house, and she actually ends up going to his house. And it is what they learn about one another and what they learn about each other's families as they switch places that ends up causing all the complications and all the problems. But also, ends up having an unexpected impact on their relationship. And so, well worth watching. I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed it a lot. It's called Your Christmas or Mine. It's an Amazon Prime original, I believe. And I would say this one for me was 4.0 Christmas trees to 4.25 Christmas trees. Like, it was really good. Definitely worth a watch. It was it was over the top in places, very funny. If you watched UK movies and you understand UK humor, like, for American stuff, it can seem over the top, funny, Benny Hillish funny, you know what I mean? But it was good, like, because I love Benny Hill, so it was very good. I liked it a lot. And then my last recap and review for this week is Hanukkah on Rye, which is a Hallmark movie. Now, this one is so hard to explain because it is such a freaking layered story, which made the movie so good and so complex. It was complex, which made it so good. Maybe I should say it that way. Okay, but I guess you got to start at the baseline of the movie, which is there's these two Jewish families. They have kids, grandkids. I guess I would start at the grandkids level. The grandkids meet each other, kind of start off in an enemies to loverish kind of way, kind of have that instant, they kind of have that instant kind of friction, but then the friction kind of eases up as they kind of get to know each other. But then over time they find out that they are from these competing families. Both of them are in the deli business. One is very contemporary and the other is very traditional. And the contemporary one operates on the West Coast, but they are looking for a location on the East Coast, and the location that they're looking at is right like in the same area as this traditional one. And the traditional one is kind of, it's outdated, in terms of the movie anyway. To me, it's not outdated. Like, I love stuff like that, but it's kind of outdated in that, the clientele is like, old Jewish people. And they need a younger clientele to keep the business going. And so the granddaughter understands this and tries to pull them, screaming and hollering into the 21st century. And there's a struggle. The other family is already ahead. They already want to be contemporary, but they could stand to be a little more traditional. And so then you have this kind of a battle between the two families, between the two grandkids. And I have to tell you, I could not love this movie more. I loved it so much, I watched it twice in a row. Meaning that I thought I was going to fall asleep during the movie, so I recorded it on my DVR because I thought it was going to bore me to death. Not only did it not bore me and I watched it, but I actually finished watching the movie and then watched it immediately right again on DVR because it was so good. This was definitely a 4.5 Christmas tree movie for me. It knocked it out of the park. I loved it. Loved everything about it. I love the relationship. I love the traditional versus the contemporary. I love the modern, kind of the modern twist. I loved all of the, kind of cultural events and activities and kind of learning so much about Jewish history and stuff like that. Like, I mean, it was kind of a lesson in a rom-com. You didn't, like, I only know it was a lesson because afterward I knew so much more than I knew before I went in. But it wasn't like they were knocking you over the head with it. It was just part of the story. It was so good. I really loved it. So, Hanukkah on Rye, definitely a must watch for me. It is still on my DVR, and I think I am going to keep it there. There are other things I may end up. Getting rid of, but that is not going to be one of those things. I think that one will live to tell a story another day. One of those things that I watch when I need to chill out after a long day at work. Anyway, I am going to take a quick break and come back with my hot or not chick picks. See ya in a couple minutes.
Now available on paperback and an ebook, the hilarious romantic comedy The 12 Days of Christmas by USA Today best-selling author Brady. Both recovering from heartbreak, Gabby and Dave fall for each other after Dave sends a misdirected text message to the wrong woman. It's a comedy of errors when they try to meet face to face. Murphy's Law strikes and they may never see or speak to each other again. However, Gabby thinks Dave may be the one, so she accepts the mission to unite them before Christmas Day. Now she's got 8 days and 12 days to find the man of her dreams. But Dave is hiding something. 3 big things. Even if Gabby finds him, will his secrets keep them apart? Rediscover all the joy and wonder of the Christmas season when you pick up this heartwarming story today. To find out more about the 12 Days of Christmas, visit klbradyauthor.com or pick up your copy at Amazon, Apple, Kobo, or Barnes & Noble today. And now it's time for Chicks on Christmas Flicks.
And welcome back to Chicks on Christmas Flicks. In the first half of the show, I gave you my recap and review of Christmas with the Campbells, the Holiday Dating Guide, Your Christmas or Mine, and Hanukkah on Rye. Now it is time for my hot or not chick picks. And I have to tell you, I've got quite a few. I watched a bunch of stuff. So while I was off, even though I had my little Christmas movie marathon with all my Christmas classics, I also actually got to watch a lot of movies, a lot of new stuff, but there was so much that I didn't get to watch. So I'm just going to do a quick rundown and tell you whether I thought it was hot or not, and talk a little bit about the movie if I have something to talk about, really. Okay, so the first one was Hotel for the Holidays. Now I have to tell you what I did. I kind of I tried to go through the movies that were not on the typical standard channels. So Hallmark, Lifetime, Ion, Netflix, right? I tried to go out of that realm and find those movies so that I could kind of talk about them. And I knew that not everybody would be watching them. And you might be curious, if you didn't want to sign up for a service, whether you should have signed up for a service to watch one of these movies. So I'm going to tell you, whether it was worth signing up or not. All right, so FreeVee. Now that one's on Amazon Prime and it is free. So you could sign up and watch this one. If you have Prime, you can just go in and watch FreeVee channel. It's very easy to get to. But this was an original, FreeVee. And the movie was about a hotel manager that's kind of planning to leave her a hotel, which is kind of like a family, for a bigger and better deal, right? And she's kind of sneaky about it. And she's kind of doing it behind her people's back. And then, they find out what happens. So I would have to say this one did not thrill me. It's probably something you could watch once, but it's not one of those things that's going to stick with you for a lot. It means that you're going to watch a long time over and over and over again. So I would say this one was, I can't say it's hot or not. I would not say it's or not, but I wouldn't say it's hot. It's like lukewarmish. So that's Hotel for the Holidays. Single and Ready to Jingle on Lifetime. Gotta say, this was a diverse one, but I wasn't really feeling it. I didn't finish it, actually. So I would have to give that one an or not. Now, it may be one of those that I upgrade later, but for me, Single and Ready to Jingle was a not. A Royal Corgi Christmas on Hallmark. I resisted watching this movie. Seriously resisted it because I was like, royal dogs, really? This is where we're going? We've seen the royal movie on Hallmark. I mean, how many royal movies have we seen on Hallmark? And I thought, this is going to be another royal movie on Hallmark, and I didn't want to see it. And dang it, it was much better than I thought it was. But I got to tell you, I watched it while I was writing one morning, and I really liked it. Hunter King is moving up very, very fast on my favorite actresses list. And we know, like, in terms of the new actresses, we got people like Mallory Jansen. We've got people like Lindsay Fonseca. I would put her in that class. I would definitely put Hunter in that class. So, yeah, pretty interesting. I would say that's a hot Royal Corgi Christmas, and I was not expecting to like it. Kirk Franklin's The Night Before Christmas on Lifetime. I resisted watching it. I was like, Kirk cannot do it 2 years in a row. And I absolutely loved a Kirk Franklin's A Gospel Christmas last year. Loved it. So I was like, this is going to be a letdown. And I watched it. Not a letdown. So good. Hate that it took me so long to watch it. I really could punch myself in the face for that one. Definitely hot. Okay. Kirk Franklin's The Night Before Christmas is definitely a hot. Liked it so much better than I thought it was. It was good. And I will say to me, the trailers don't do it justice. I will just say that. Trailers, if you go by the trailers and you think I don't watch it because of the trailers, then you're missing a really good one. The trailers did not do it. Maybe they should let me pick your trailers. Because some of the ones you've been picking out, I would say Lifetime and Hallmark. Hey, I'm free. I'm available to pick trailers because some of the trailers could kind of turn me off, and I was like, oh God. I think if you have the right trailer, though, you could probably suck more people in. All right. Next one, A Fabled Holiday. I would say, now this one was kind of a surprise hot for me. I did not think I was going to like it. This is Brooke D'Orsay, Ryan Pavey. Now, the actors, you hear it and you're like, yeah, now that's going to be a good movie. What are you talking about, Carla? But I was like, the Fabled Holiday really, life is like a book, a children's book, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no. Another one where the trailers didn't quite do it justice. Ended up liking it, though. Definitely on the hot side. A Southern Family Christmas. I thought this was going to be sad. And I was like, I don't want to see another sad movie. I just can't. Why are they putting this sad movie on Hallmark? And it's not sad, and it's good. J.C. Elliott actually stars in this one. And, she's just fuller figure. She's just got a figure compared to some of the other actresses that are very super thin. She's not super thin, but she is so amazing. This is another reason, that's another kind of diversity that I like, that they have her on there, because you don't see a lot of just like normal sized women on Hallmark movies, and she is just a normal sized woman, beautiful, and the movie's good. So Southern Family Christmas one, I was like, no, it's gonna be too sad, I don't want to watch it. I resisted watching it. I didn't watch it till the last week of the countdown to Christmas season, honestly. I resisted watching it for a long time, and it was good. The next movie was The Night Before Christmas. This one, I would say, is hot-ish. Was not what I consider hot, but it was more than I think lukewarm. And I ended up liking another one. I ended up resisting because I thought, well, this, I don't know, the premise kind of sounded absurd in the trailer, kind of turned me off a little bit. But when I actually watched it, I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is good. So, shocker there. Yeah, I'm telling you, this was a string of shockers for me. And last but not least on my list was Saving Christmas Spirit, which was an AMC Plus movie with none other than Ashley Newborough. Now, if you know Ashley, she's been doing movies the last, 2 or 3 seasons for Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. She's done A Small Town Christmas with Christopher Palaha. She's done A Merry Christmas Match. And then she did another one like last season. I can't remember. I want to say it was the one where they kind of had the reunion, and because one of the teachers that died or something. I don't know. That was one that I only watched part of it. Like I said, it was one of those I thought it was going to be sad, and I kind of didn't watch it as closely as I should. But she's been on a bunch of Hallmark stuff over the years, and certainly a lot of Christmas stuff over the past few years. And Small Town Christmas, anything with Christopher Palaha, I'm going to watch. And her, I love her anyway. And then A Merry Christmas Match, I loved anyway. So anyway, when I saw that she had done this movie on AMC Plus, I was like, oh, I must watch this. Saving Christmas Spirit was based in, I want to say Scotland. And I had she was playing opposite a Scottish actor. And it kind of talked about, so yeah, I would say, I don't want to give too much away because you can easily give too much away on that movie. What I will say is that it's hot-ish for me, right? Wasn't hot. To me, if I had to line it up against the movies that she's done on Hallmark and Movies and Mysteries, like this one would fall like just under the ones that she had done for Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, which doesn't make it bad. It just doesn't make it better than the ones that I'm used to seeing her in. So it's definitely worth, if you have AMC Plus, or if you can have like the temporary thing and you're wondering, how should I watch it? I mean, if you love Ashley Newborough, you're going to love the movie. Period. But like I said, for me, I would say, I think it was more around how quickly some things got resolved toward the end of it that kind of threw me out of the story a little bit, because there's kind of this whole mystery going on until the end, and then things resolve super quickly. And so sometimes when that happens, kind of throws it off. So I think it's just the quick resolution that kind of threw me off, but I think it is worth watching. So I will say that is a hot-ish. Okay. And guys, believe it or not, that is going to be it for today. Stay tuned. Coming up, I would like to do the final wrap-up show with Brittany and I, doing our top 12 for the season. I can tell you my top 12 looks absolutely nothing like the first top 12. Nothing like my most anticipated movies that I had. Nothing. It's incredible, the changes that have taken place. I think this is one of the most is it volatile the right word, where like there's been such a sea change in my choices from the beginning to the end. Like huge differences, and there are so many movies that I didn't get to see. So I'm going to tell you guys about a few that I didn't get to see that are on my list, but and I will watch them over the season, but I didn't get to watch them. Holiday Heritage, I fell asleep, slam asleep. I had a rough day at work and fell asleep and did not get a chance to watch it again. Some of the sad ones, well, the ones that I was expecting to be sad, you know how I am. And I said I wasn't going to do that this year. I said, I am not going to do that this year. And I did exactly that this year. The Gift of Peace, I didn't watch it. What's another one I didn't watch? 5 More Minutes. I waited and didn't watch 5 More Minutes, the first one. And then I didn't watch 5 More Minutes, the second one at all. And everybody had such great things to say about that. That had Tyler Hynes in it. There's a lot of Heinies out there. I missed it. I feel bad about that one. Wrapped Up in Love on Lifetime, missed it. That was with Brittany Bristow. She usually does a lot of stuff for Hallmark, but She starred in this Christmas movie for Lifetime. Did not get to watch that. I don't know if that was the Lifetime original or if that was an acquisition on their part, but I didn't get to watch it. Record Breaking Christmas on Lifetime. Did not get to watch it. A Sappy Christmas on Ion. I think it was on Ion. No, Up TV. It was Up TV. And then An Eclectic Christmas. Didn't get to watch that. Up TV. When Christmas Was Young, the CBS movie, I didn't get a chance to watch that one. I was kind of upset about that. A Christmas Gift on BET. That was like the last BET Christmas movie. Didn't get to watch it. Mary Swissmas. Didn't get to watch it. A Maple Valley Christmas. I didn't watch it. Long Lost Christmas. I didn't get to watch it. If you hear me, it's horrible. Blame Work. That sucked up most of my holiday. Honestly, I've been working like a crazy person. A Country Christmas Harmony. I missed it. Completely missed it. Sweet Navidad. Never watched it. The Holiday Swap. I started watching that one on HTV, on Up TV, and then it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. So I ended up not liking that one, not as nearly as much as I thought it was. But I haven't actually finished watching it, and I would like to see how that ended. So that's why I'm not counting as things I watched. So I had a lot of stuff to watch. As you can hear, I have a lot of stuff to watch during the off season. Oh, and guess what? I didn't see a holiday spectacular. Oops. I know a lot of you out there saw it. I did not watch it. I got, here I lectured you guys on it, and I said, you're probably gonna feel some kind of way because that there were no black Rockettes in the 50s and 60s, they just did not exist, 40s and 50s or whatever. And the first black Rockette did not actually show up until like 1987. And then she was like really light and blended in well, and you wouldn't have known that she was actually a black woman because she was very, very, very light. So you didn't see those brown, chocolate brown women like they had in the movie playing Rockettes. But you just did not see it. And so I told you guys, hey, get over yourselves, watch it anyway. We know why Hallmark did it. And guess what? I didn't watch it. I feel like a heel, I know. But I am going to watch it during the off season. My time was limited, and I had to pick and choose the stuff I wanted to watch. And honestly, I was so stressed. I really just kind of wanted the stuff where I could just kind of turn my brain off and just let it go on autopilot and not, put a lot of thought and stuff into it. So it's easier for me to do that with movies that I've already seen versus new movies where I really am engaged and investing myself. So, but I will watch a lot of this stuff over the off season, and I will talk about it on the shows. And yes, I am coming back with season 4, and God willing, season 4, God willing, season 5, God willing, season 6. We'll see how far it goes, but I'm definitely coming back next season. I'm really hoping now that my schedule, and I'm not going to let my schedule get out of whack like I did last year. I am really going to keep a regular schedule so that I can do more of the things that I wanted to do. And there were a few interviews that I wanted to ask people for and stuff last season that I didn't get to ask them for. So beware if you listen to the show. I might be coming to you for an interview. So I'm hoping to have, to be able to do a lot of stuff that I wasn't able to do last season. So please stay tuned. Thank you so much. Oh, and let's not forget, every Thursday and Friday, Hallmark and Hallmark Movies and Mysteries will be still showing Christmas movies. One Christmas movie a week on each of those channels. So I will be having Christmas movie updates throughout the season in addition to the stuff that I watch anyway, right? I'm so excited. Anyway, so please stay tuned. Lots and lots and lots more coming, and I'm going to stay engaged. And I think we're coming up to one of the biggest Christmas movie seasons ever. Like, everybody's going to get in the game now that hasn't been in the game, because I think they see how successful Christmas movies really are. So I am truly excited about the season. Thank you everybody for joining. Please stay tuned. Thank you to my music and show editor, Will B. He created all the custom music for this show. He's at Wild Card Music, and you can find his IG page in the show notes. Until next time, remember, at Chicks on Christmas Flicks, we can never have too many Christmas movies. We can only have not enough Christmas movies. Please don't forget to subscribe, leave a review on your favorite platform, and tell your Christmas movie loving friends about the show. Where can you find us? I'm so happy you asked. All podcast platforms, including Amazon, Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, and many, many more. There's a link in the show notes. Follow us. Keep following us on Twitter at Chicks on Christmas Flicks with all X's, and follow us on IG at Chicks on Christmas Flicks with all X's. Thank you for listening in, and we will see you really, really, really soon.